How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on my retirement from drama because, at one point in time, I used to get into it with people, I would look for that. I would go days on end arguing with people and stuff, but as I got older, I'm like, bro, this is a waste of time. I'm not accomplishing anything with this. That was one thing I do remember, just back when I was younger. Oh man, I had all the time. I had all the energy more so to argue with people, cause drama, all this other stuff. I was all for it, but no, it's I just remember getting into it with my friends about cartoon characters and then just sitting down thinking what am I doing right now? And that's the thing where it's from that to my own personal opinion on stuff. I remember there was a time where it was an old friend where I'd made some post about, surgery, more so surgery of people trying to change their appearance and all that stuff. That's what I was talking about. I'm just saying that, hey, accept your body for what it is. You don't need to get no plastic surgery and no stuff like that. I woke up to a strongly worded message from this former friend, and I'm thinking to myself, I haven't heard from you in I don't know how long. You could have reached out and just been all hey, how you doing? How's life? How's the content creating career? I get a strongly worded message talking about you shouldn't be criticizing people on getting plastic surgery. And there is and so they brought it up more so for health reasons. And I'm okay, if they're getting plastic surgery for health reasons, that's a completely different conversation. I wasn't talking about that. What I'm talking, maybe I should have worded it better, but I'm what I'm talking on is people getting plastic surgery because they're trying to look like Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber, and I'm fam, accept you for you. Kim Kardashian is Kim Kardashian. You are whoever you are. That's what I was talking on. But yeah, overall though, I was if this would have been some years ago, yeah, I had been arguing with them all day. Probably would have got to the point where they was all nah, I ain't trying to be. I ended up cutting that friend off. I was nah, it's one of those things where I'm I don't want this to be a reoccurring thing. And it was other reasons on why I had cut that friend off. But yeah, I was that was a factor. That was one of the factors that led to the friendship ending and stuff. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm man, people be living for that. People be living for arguments. People be, and I just gotten to a point in time in my life where I'm man, I am done. I'm if you, it's like that with friends. It's like that with family. They want to argue about stuff. I'm hey, that's on you. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm not going to take away how you feel, but I'm also not going to sit here and argue with you about how I feel. So if it's one of them joking arguments, oh yeah, I live for those. I live for the joking arguments. I live for the arguments where it's just me and a friend or a family member where we just you, because that's one thing that I remember, and it's from my childhood, was going to a wrestling show with my family. I went with my dad, my uncles, my cousin. Was there, I think it was just me and my cousin, and then it was his dad, my uncle, then yeah, their brothers and stuff. So yeah, I think, because I'm trying to think, I don't think his sisters had went with us. I think it was just, yeah, because we were the only two that was really into wrestling like that. So, but anyways, no, I just remember when me and my uncle, we were getting into in the middle of the show, we were getting into a whole argument about which wrestler, and I think because it was No Way Out. It was 2009 No Way Out, and I think it was it JB? I think it might have been that match between JBL and Shawn Michaels. It might have been that match. Because, yeah, I think that was that match where Shawn Michaels' wife had punched JBL in the face. Hold on for a second. Let me look that pay-per-view up. Yeah, No Way Out 2009. That was a pretty good pay-per-view. That was when I think Edge had lost the first Elimination Chamber, and then he interfered. I think, Kofi Kingston was supposed to be wrestling in the other Elimination Chamber, but then, because there was like No Way Out was the final No Way Out held until June. No, that's not it. I have read too far. But no, that was, okay, so that was that match. It was, the All or Nothing match, and, so there was that match. I'm trying to think, main event. So there was like the main event of Raw was the Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship, scheduled to involve John Cena. Dang, these are some big names, bro. John Cena, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, Kofi Kingston. Okay, so he was in that match. Mike Knox and Kane, bro. Like, no, let me just read off this pay-per-view, like all the wrestlers that were involved. So I remember missing the dark match because I think I could hear Beth Phoenix, her song going off in the distance. We were all in line. I think I was trying to get me a t-shirt, and I think that's what I got the first time around. I think I had got a Batista. I think it was the Batista elbow pads. And then it was, no, wait, what did I get again? I honestly don't remember. Well, I mean, it was back in 2009. I don't remember exactly what I got, but I remember it was either the Batista elbow pads and Jeff Hardy shirt, or it was a Jeff Hardy necklace and the Batista shirt. I can't remember which one, but I remember because those were my guys. Like, back in the day, I was like, fam, I can sit down and watch Batista highlights, Jeff Hardy highlights for hours upon hours, watch their matches, like if it was like because I remember I got that ladder match DVD, and Jeff Hardy, you know him, he's like the king of ladder matches and stuff. But no, let me just read off the wrestlers. So you had Melina, Beth Phoenix, Triple H, The Undertaker, Edge, Jeff Hardy, Big Show, Vladimir Kozlov, Randy Orton, Shane McMahon, Jack Swagger, Finlay, and Hornswoggle, Shawn Michaels, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, and then then Edge, he interfered in that last match. He jumped Kofi Kingston. I'm like, man, Kofi Kingston, I think he had to have gotten his payback and stuff. But anyways, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Chris Jericho, Mike Knox, and Kane. Now I'm like, bro, who that is? Yeah, that's insane, bro. That, like, sit down thinking of that pay-per-view. I'm like, man, there's like commentators. Dang, they had Michael Cole on commentary. I mean, when you're there at a live show, you can't hear them and stuff. It would be, bro, I don't know why they won't do some stuff like that. They should have it where you can download an app and then you could listen to the commentary. Fam, I just came up with $1 million idea for WWE. I'm like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, at least then, you get some noise cancellation headphones or something, because I'm telling you, them pyros, they are loud. But they had on the commentary Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, Taz, Todd Grisham, Matt Stryker. Then there was like Spanish commentary, but then there was like Todd Grisham, I don't know, but anyways, ring announcers, Lillian Garcia, Justin Roberts. Then then that's when ECW was a thing. But Charles Robinson, bro, as a ref, that was, bro, I'm telling you, man. Then another pay-per-view I went, or not pay-per-view, but show I went to was Monday Night Raw the year prior. But anyways, getting back to the drama stuff. But it's like, I remember me and my uncle, we were getting into an argument about the wrestlers, and I'm like, it's stuff like that. Those are the type of arguments that I want to have. I want to have arguments about stuff like we can have an argument. We could be so strong about these arguments too. And then at the end of it, we're like, hey, what you got planned tomorrow? Okay, cool. Bet. See you then, But and we cool at the end of it. See, those are the arguments. I feel like those are the best type of arguments to have. Like, if anybody needs a representation, like a live action of what it looks like, there was an episode of Martin where it was him, Gina, Tommy, and Pam. They were all kind of having like a roasting battle and stuff. And then at the very end, they was like, hey, we playing cards tomorrow? That's the type of stuff that I look forward to. But I'm not trying to have no actual legitimate argument with you and stuff. Like, I just remember when that old friend contacted me, and I'm like, it was early in the morning too. So I'm waking up to stuff like that, and I'm like, bro, I am way too tired. Like, that's one thing about it. Like, early in the morning, words don't, like, it's one of those things. I can read words, I just can't speak words, you know? So, yeah, and so I'm trying to, like, wake myself up so I can respond to this message and things. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. If it makes you happy, I will take the post down. It was an Instagram story, so it would have expired in 24 hours. But I was like, to satisfy you and to make you happy, I will take that post down. I took the post down, went right back to sleep. I was like, I ain't got nothing else to say to this individual. Because I'm like, there's previous things where I'm like, fam, not the best idea to, you know, wake me up and start arguing with me and stuff. And that's the thing. I would recommend any and everybody in this world, don't do that to your friends. Don't do that to your family. Don't do that to nobody. Do not wake them. Check the thing is this. I know how the world works. There's different time zones and all that. Check that time zone, all right? My arguing brain, the thing is this, because it's slowly declining. I'm like, I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I want more peace than arguing. Contact me when it's like daytime, like afternoon hours and stuff, you know, afternoon hours, late at night, when I'm like, you know, yeah, well, I'm like, my brain is in its prime and stuff, because yeah, late at night, I'm like, I get creative, I'm over here doing any and everything's possible. I mean, I'm creative all throughout the day, but yeah, but I'm like, bro, but early in the morning, like 6, 7 in the morning, I'm like, fam, I'm not trying to argue with nobody at that time. I'm not. Like, and then I just even remember the one time when the guy, I always talk about this one, but the guy that was trying to debate me with X4 Foundation. And that's where this, like, where this episode, the main motivation is that people are trying to, like, get on me for how I criticize Eve Online. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, that was my own personal opinion. There wasn't no argument that was supposed to be seeked after it. I just wanted to speak my own opinion on a video game that I don't like. How does that affect you? Like, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't be understanding about, like, arguments, is that most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, an argument doesn't even involve them. They add themselves into the inclusion. I don't know why I was getting ready to say inclusion, but conclusion. No, I feel like, equation. That's the word that I'm looking for. They add themselves into the equation, and then they realize the math ain't mathing because you wasn't even supposed to be involved. Like, fam, on some funny stuff, cool. But on some serious stuff, I'm not for that. I'm not for that at all. People be wanting to argue with me about stuff, and I'm like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm not. I'm like, it's like, I've had to tell pretty much, yeah, friends and family, I'm like, look, I ain't going to go back and forth with you. This how I feel. If you feel a certain way, that's on you. You know, but yeah, and I'm like saying that's one of the main reasons, just with content creating, fam. I'm going to tell you guys this right now, because I feel like with content creating, that's like the main place people be wanting to seek out arguments. You can make a video. The thing is this. You can make the most peaceful video of all time where it's like you're just out in the middle of the wilderness, just with a chair, just, and you got like let me just paint out a scenario real quick, right? You're in the middle of a forest, but at the edge of this forest, there's this beautiful looking waterfall, right? So you go and you get you a folding chair, right? Follow me with this. Follow me. Folding chair, it's gonna come in at some point in time, all right? But anyways, you go get you a folding chair from Lowe's, all right? You get you a folding chair from Lowe's. You take this road trip. You take this 2.5-hour road trip. Just made that time up in my head. It might take longer. It might even be shorter. It might even be walking distance. But anyways, you take this 2.5-hour road trip to this forest, right? And then you find that waterfall view. Fold that chair out. You sit there and you get your favorite book. One of the last few books I just bought was Christine by Stephen King. You reading that, and kind of a weird book to read out in that peaceful environment and stuff. But hey, you could get you a peaceful book. I'm trying to think what a peaceful book that I have. There's this one called The Master Key System. It was more so like a motivational type book and things. But anyways, yeah, let's say you get that Master Key System. You get that book, you sitting out there, got your music in, listening to music. But let's say you record yourself doing this, right? And you post it on social media. There is somebody that's going to argue with you because you brought a folding chair out in the middle of the woods. They're going to be like, bro, that folding chair is bad for the environment. Why would you do that? Why would you kill those trees like that? You probably just killed 10 trees out there. And I'm like, fam, do you honestly think, I'm not going to argue with you, but I am going to ask you this question. Do you think when I am on this peaceful journey, do you think I am worried about a chair? How is a chair killing the environment? Like, explain to me how a perfectly intact chair, a brand new chair from Lowe's, it would make sense if I broke this chair in pieces and spread it all throughout the forest. Then I feel like they probably would be bad for the environment and stuff. That stuff ain't breaking down. It ain't compostable. Is that word? Anyways, regardless, I would imagine that. But my thing is this: perfectly intact chair going out in the middle of the woods. Then you fold that chair up, you put it back in your car, leave no pieces behind. How is that bad for the environment? See, it's things like that, and that's what I'm big on. You know, it's like if they're trying to argue with you, ask them hard-hitting questions and continue asking them until they run out of answers, because eventually they are. That's one thing about it. That's one thing when they be trying to argue with me, I be asking them hard-hitting questions. Like, people, I remember the one guy, I've talked about this before, the guy who was trying to get on me for reacting to my friend's T channel. And I'm thinking to myself, how does me reacting, not even reacting, supporting my friend, yes, I am reacting, but I'm also supporting my friend's channel. How does that affect you at the end of the day? When hold on for a second, let me check my social blade real quick, because, it's one of those things where I'm all like, sometimes I got 11, at the time being, I don't remember how many videos I had up, but I have 11,219 videos, right? You very well can watch any of those videos. You're purposely clicking on my friend's videos, wanting to argue about it and stuff. No, I ended up banning or blocking that guy and deleting his comments. I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about why I'm supporting my friend. Do you have any friends? Do you support them? Because if not, then I'm like, I can see why you're in my comment sections wanting to argue about some stuff. I'm like, man, that's silly. So, but overall, I'm like, I ain't going to be sitting around arguing with people about stuff that I'm doing. I'm like, you got a problem with it, that's on you, bruh. But I'm not here for the arguments, all right? So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And
all right, here we go.
New Phineas and Ferb is here.
We're back, baby.
For 104 more days.
I know what we're gonna do today.
Of summer vacation.
I am ready for summer shenanigans. Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
All right. We're gonna bust Phineas and Ferb once and for all.
Are we gonna do this again?
New inventions, shenanigans, innators, adventures, and songs.
Brand new summer vacation.
New Phineas and Ferb starts June 5th on Disney Channel and next day on Disney Plus. On DisneyPlus.Disney.com.
peace.